Wes Rucker and Patrick Brown from Vols 24/7 here at Columbia, Missouri at Farrow Field, where, Pat, for the second consecutive season, Tennessee has gone to a place named Columbia in November and pretty much done everything wrong. Pretty bad performance tonight. Tennessee loses 36-7 at Missouri. I don't know of a prettier way to put it other than it was bad.
Yeah, it's the largest margin of defeat for Tennessee under Josh Heupel. Previous was, I think, 28 points to Alabama in his first season. That one makes sense. This one doesn't really make sense. I mean, Tennessee played very badly today, really in all three phases, maybe outside of Jackson Ross.
Punter was great.
When your punter is your best player, that generally means it doesn't go well, unless you're Iowa. Tennessee's not Iowa. And Tennessee's probably not going to play Iowa in the Citrus Bowl now after this one. So, I mean, Tennessee was second best on the lines of scrimmage today, give up 205 rushing yards. Tennessee's running backs were non-factors. 3 turnovers were critical in the game. Tennessee's defense couldn't get off the field. I don't know what the third down numbers ended up. It was 11 of 16 at some point. Yeah. You're just not going to win when you can't get off the field on defense. And Tennessee, Cody Schrader was the star of the game. Everybody was talking about Luther Burden during the week, and Cody Schrader is the guy that killed Tennessee today and had over 100 yards receiving too. And it was Tennessee's worst game of the season by far on defense, and it wasn't much better on offense, Wes.
No, I'd have to go back to maybe Dexter McCluster years ago for the last time and I think Ryan Callahan shout out for that mention, because I think some of us were there that day when he, for playing for Ole Miss, just ran all over Tennessee. It kind of felt similar to that, but for me, the entire thing started on defense. I know that the offense turned it over twice in scoring range. I know there was a pick six at the end. I know the offense did not play well, but for me, at one point in this game, Tennessee was 11 for 16 defensively. Mizzou's offense was. And in that moment, Tennessee had also given up an 11-minute scoring drive. You just cannot win when those things happen.
Yeah, Wes, it was, Missouri had an 11-minute scoring drive that ended in a field goal, but that was kind of a precursor of how the rest of the game was going to go. Tennessee just could not get off the field, whether they let Brady Cook scramble, whether they couldn't cover somebody, whether they let Cody Schrader run for it. I mean, it's impossible to win when you can't get off the field on defense to this extent. And Missouri was able to continue drives, and Tennessee bowed up a couple times in the red zone, but they were just on their heels the entire game. It's hard to find any level of the defense that played even remotely average. Defensive line got pushed around. We've seen when there's no pass rush with this defense, you can pretty much do whatever you want to them. Tennessee did get a couple sacks early, but those are covered sacks. They didn't keep Brady Cook in the pocket, pushed around in the run game. Those wide zone plays killed Tennessee. Linebackers or safeties all out of their gaps. They had some coverage busts where they just left guys wide open. It was just a total systems failure on the defense, and it's hard to take when you play that bad.
Yeah, the nicest thing I could say again about anyone not named Jackson Ross would be that Tennessee did enough for about 3/4 of this game to hang around and be in this game. And that's the nicest thing you can say. Bowed up a couple times, got a couple red zone stops. Late in the first half, Tennessee's got the ball in scoring range. At the very least, Tennessee could have gone to the half tied, very likely in front, despite a terrible first half. And then Jalen Wright catches the ball goes on the ground. Mizzou gets the ball right here behind us with 20 seconds left, and then goes down the field to get a touchdown about 70 yards. I mean, you just can't. That moment there, and then getting nothing out of the first possession in the third quarter. This game was begging for Tennessee to steal it for a long time, and it just couldn't do it.
Yeah, there was a 6-point swing at the end of the first half, and Tennessee lost the middle 8-10-0. The start of the second half, the end of the first half. Jalen McCullough makes a great play on the interception early part of the game, and Tennessee doesn't do anything with it on offense. And even then, it was 22-7, and Tennessee's got a couple drives going. They have a couple holding penalties I thought were crap. I'll be honest. I didn't think either of those were holding. And so instead of first and goal at the 5, down 2 scores, chance to make it a 1-score game with a lot of time left. Tennessee has to punt. They don't get the stop at the 1 to get a good field, and then they're driving down here again, and Joe Milton goes to throw and hits Dylan Sampson's hand, and it's a fumble. It's sort of a weird play, but Milton took credit for it afterwards. Credit to him, and those stretches, those moments that were there for Tennessee to get back in the game, they squandered those chances on offense. The defense kind of hung in there, but really no part of this team played well tonight, and they got beat by 29 points.
Yeah, out-schemed, outplayed, out-fought. Out everything.
Yeah.
And again, there's going to be a lot of questions after this, and there darn well should be. This was not an acceptable performance by where this Tennessee program is at this point. This is going to be a good, long, miserable flight back to Knoxville with some thoughts about where to go forward from here, because some things are going to have to be better than this. I mean, they're back home next week for Georgia. Again, Georgia, big game at home, but at some point they're going to have to play well in places not named Neyland Stadium or Kroger Field, which is basically Neyland Stadium. For Patrick Brown, this is Wes Rucker. We'll see y'all next time.